Hello, this is Claus Jensen presenting yet another classical Kasparov game. This time it's the game Kasparov-Gheorgiu from Moscow 1982. So Kasparov was 19 at the time of the game, and he's playing the white pieces. And the game starts d4, knight f6, c4, e6, knight f3, b6, a queen's engine, a3, bishop b7, knight c3, d5, c takes d5, knight takes d5, queen c2, c5, and e4. And Kasparov has played this system many times, and it actually has its name to it, the Kasparov attack. And one of the main ideas is to play for a pawn d5 break or a pawn d5 sack at some time in the game. And this is also one of the themes in this game. Knight takes c3, b takes c3, bishop e7, bishop b5 check, bishop c6, bishop d3, and with this move order, the check on b5 first, it makes d5 come with greater force as it is threatening the bishop when d5 is played. Knight d7, castles, and at this point one could think that black should castle, but Gheorgiu didn't like castle here because of d5. E takes, bishop takes d5, and then bishop takes h7 check, losing an important pawn in front of the black king. So he played h6 instead, and it may seem like a waste of time, but that's what he did anyway. Rook d1, and again Gheorgiu was afraid of castling. Now, of course, still d5 would come, e takes d5, e takes d5, and then black cannot take the pawn on d5 because then there's a discovered check on h7 and the bishop is lost on d5. So this time he plays queen c7. And now Kasparov has put many of his pieces in the right places, so he's ready for the thematic pawn sack d5. And later in his career he played positions like these numerous times, and I guess games like this one was part of the reason why he kept playing it, because he was hugely successful with this kind of position. E takes d5, e takes d5, bishop takes d5. And then came bishop b5. And a possible defense for black here was to play bishop c6, because then would probably follow bishop f4, deflecting the queen, and then take on c6. And now black is forced to castle queenside, and it is not exactly increasing his king safety, because after queenside castle, Kasparov would surely play a4, planning a5 to open up the black king position further. And Gheorgiu didn't like the prospects of this bishop c6 move, so he played a6 instead. But then came the very strong bishop f4. And it's a very strong move simply because it keeps the black king in the center of the board. Gheorgiu is forced to take on f4, and then bishop takes d7, king takes, and rook takes d5 check, and king c7. And it's actually quite amazing to look at this position. White is a pawn down, but he has a clear lead in development due to a very active rook and potentially control of both the central files on the board. So on surface this could look like a fairly balanced position, but it's definitely not. White is clearly better because of one very important imbalance in the game: king safety. The black king is very exposed while the white king is relatively safe. And as we shall see in the game, black's king being very exposed, and the way Kasparov with very simple and logical moves converts this position into a win in very few moves is extremely impressive. He plays rook e1 here, very natural and logical move, taking control of the e-file and doing it with tempo because of the unprotected bishop on e7. Bishop d6, rook f5 is eyeing the f7 pawn. Queen has to go, but protects the f7 pawn from here, but is soon to be removed with rook e4. And the white rooks are really ruling the board at this point. Queen b5, rook takes f7 with check, king b8, rook e6, once again improving the rook's position with the tempo, rook d8, c4 came here, and if queen a5 in this position, then queen e4, threatening a checkmate on b7, and after rook a7, then rook takes d6 is strong, for example rook takes f7, rook takes d8, and mate is just around the corner, so queen a5 doesn't work, so Gheorgiu instead played queen c6, but then followed knight e5 and queen c8, and now comes a nice retreating move, queen b1, and there's actually no good defense against the next move, queen takes b6, and therefore Gheorgiu actually decided to resign the game. And I really like this game because it's very simple and clean. It's great to see how Kasparov develops harmoniously and still manages to do it in a way so that his opponent feels uncomfortable with the castle and king side. And when Kasparov has finished his development and opponent king is still in the center, he strikes with the thematic d5 pawn sack, followed by a nice bishop f4 to keep the black king in the center. And Kasparov rightly evaluates the rising position as good for him, despite being a pawn down due to very good rook activity in the two central files. So I hope you enjoyed this game as much as I did, and I hope to see you on my blog at klausjensen.com. Bye bye for now.